and gentlemen, welcome to the first episode of The Affliction. Today's just an introduction episode. It's gonna be short, nice, sweet. First off, my name's Andrew. We're gonna be talking about a lot on this show, mainly sports, trying to cover the best and all around greatest things going on in the sports world. But we're starting this show by covering none other than the XFL. Now, as you see, I have Jaguar gear on. I have, dreaming of a championship. Eventually. All about the U. Lakers, not the fan of that, but I'm a fan of Westbrook. Do what you want with that. I'm 27, going on 28 this year. I have a dog, his name's Jansen, and life is all about sports almost. Outside of work. Anyways, to the real deal. On today's episode, we are going to introduce the sport that's been, not sport, but league that's been brought into us and brought away, taken away, then brought back again, and then taken away again, and is now being yet again refurbished by none other than the man himself, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Round of applause for the man himself. He's trying to create another league. Not really another league, but just trying to recreate the XFL league again. This time, it seems more like it's going to be withheld. He's got confidence in the league. He's doing all the right things, making all the right moves, hiring all the right guys for all the right positions and whatnot. And also, getting a board together that is passionate about his mission and his goals and seeing what this league needs to be. So it's great to see that, his passion from the times he played at none other than the U, and in his high school days, and the Canadian Football League as well. And also Gridiron Gang, it's great to see him give these guys who never really fell off, just never got that opportunity. Because I look at it this way, as a coach, and I've been in those positions, and I hated it. But you look at it as he's gonna play the best guy until that guy's hurt, or he's too tired to play, etc., etc. So if you never get that chance because that guy never gets hurt, you're just gonna be traded away, possibly never get that chance. So it's great to see that they're getting this league again. You're gonna see some familiar faces in this league. I'm going to be going through the teams. Everything in this episode is an introduction to your XFL. Some of the highlights of the league, per se. Not your full introduction, because this show is going to be raw. There's not going to be really much cuts, because I'm learning as much as everyone else is through this world. So I figure, why try to cut out the fakeness, and why try to cut out, me slipping or being corrected outside or on camera. So I figure, why not just do this and learn with you. So I will be going over the highlights that I've learned and covered over the past weeks per se, getting things together for you to go through this episode. So in short, welcome. First off, we're going to start off with a nice sip. I'm being a little parched right now. But we're going to start off with the rules and kind of get in touch with the highlight changes of the rules. So we're going to begin with the whole rule modifications that kind of caught my eye. They're bringing back, number one, tiered extra points. Now, by that I mean they'll have 3 different options of choosing to go for extra points after they score initial touchdown. So from the 2-yard line, they'll get 1 point. They can choose at the 5-yard line for 2 points, or they can go from the 10-yard line and do 3 points. So they have 3 options to come out with a score of 7, 8, or 9. So something to look out there, a little excitement to the game, a little extra fun. That 3 points is going to be wild. So I kind of hope to see that a lot in here. That's going to be interesting to see, the play calls, how many times we're going to see a field goal in the game, et cetera, et cetera. So we'll see what happens there. Then along the lines there, you got the play clock. The play clock's only been narrowed down by a couple of 5 seconds. So now they only have a play clock of 35 seconds. And then there's only 10-minute half times. So not much change in the time limits. Now, the only other thing is, what I'm seeing here is the clock will stop following first downs after 2-minute warnings of either half. So both halves, the clock will stop after 2-minute warnings. So be on the lookout for that, but again, not much change to the time. Kickoffs. Teams begin play at 5 yards apart. So there's technically no kickoff. They just begin play 5 yards apart. And the kicking team is at the opponent's 35-yard line, and return team at the 30-yard line. So I'm assuming they just have at it. They just blow the whistle and start going. I have no clue. We'll see how that goes the first weekend of XFL. Options to keep the ball. There is onside kick options, but this is how they work. You can either do traditional onside kicks at any time during the game, or after a touchdown in the fourth quarter only, you can go for it on a 4th and 15 at your own 25-yard line. Big risk factors there. Something you got to look out for. Again, more excitement to the game. Hype to see it come to life. See what these teams draw up and see if, these pan out the way they think they're going to, or if the risk falls back and the other team has the ball at their 25, and or pick 6 is easy, fumble recovery is easy, sack down at the 10-yard line. Now they are only 10 yards away from the line, etc. There's double forward passes now. That's pretty self-explanatory there if you know what a forward pass is. However, if you don't, it's basically if the ball does not cross the line of scrimmage after a first forward pass, that person may also throw a forward pass. So that'll be exciting for a bunch of trick plays. Again, see what they draw up there. More excitement. XFL. Now, overtime consists of alternating attempts from the 5-yard line until either basically a team wins or, they get 3 attempts. So it's basically best 2 out of 3. Or 3 out of 3, And then if they don't, then it's just whoever scores and doesn't score. Instant replay. Centralized replay with all plays subject to review with replay official. Final ruling made by designated members of it's instant replay. So interesting stuff. Like I said, that was only highlighted things that caught my eye with the rulings. Be on the lookout for it. New year, new league, crazy things will happen. Think about it, last time the XFL was here, they brought out the Skycam, and now look, the Skycam's in the NFL. So, who knows what's going to be in store for us here in the XFL with the ruling, the gameplay, scoring, etc. It's going to be exciting, and I cannot wait. I'm super excited. Now let's get to the good part that I know everybody's been waiting for. We have 8 teams to start this league. We have 8 teams, and it's going to be 9 regular season weeks. Then you have your semifinal week. Then you got your champions week. So we'll see how that turns out. I'm excited to see how these weeks turn out. They will be playing from ranges of Thursday all the way to Monday. Now, granted, there's only 8 teams, so there's only going to be 4 games played, but it's going to be spread across Thursdays, Fridays, Saturdays, Sundays, and Mondays. So be on the lookout. Keep on the schedule. They also have, they will be broadcasting. They have a broadcasting team together. It'll be broadcasted on Fox, ABC, and ESPN. So be on the lookout for games being played on your weekend. We will go over the schedule next episode, but we really want to get in touch with these teams. I want to talk about not really talk about the coaches because I don't personally know super much about a lot of these coaches, just one in particular. And then we got a bunch of players in this league, like I said, you may know and see some familiar faces. So first off, first team we're going to hit is the Vegas Vipers. Vegas Vipers, bro. It sounds so raw. I love it. The name's sick. The color scheme's dope. I think it's like a black with a red and like orange. I can't remember. I'm honestly not going to do that off the top of my head because it's wrong for me to do and just guess. But we're the Vegas Vipers. Super sick name. Head coach, Rod Woodson. I don't know anything about him. I'm sure some of y'all do. Name may sound familiar. But he will be head coach of the Vegas Vipers. And just running down a few familiar names, I think will be some key players on the team. You got on offense, Brett Hundley from UCLA. You know, he's got guys in the backfield like Rod Smith from Ohio State. Can't beat that. And then you got guys on the outside to throw to like Jeff Badgett. Who's that? Yeah, Badgett out of Oklahoma. And Martavius Bryant from Clemson. Those are some dogs. Super dogs. Then you got Big Beasley, same guy out of Clemson. CJ Avery, Louisville, some ACC guys, top dogs, you know. And then you got some SEC guys. You got guys in the secondary on the defense, Steven Roberts out of Auburn. And then you got some guys from Oregon like Nick Pickett out in that secondary. And let me tell you, that's going to be a hard secondary to beat possibly. Again, I don't know much. I'm just talking out of my ass. Love it. That's what we're here for. That's why the show is called The Afflikshun. So, I mean, I'm highlighting players that I think personally could be key players, but we'll see how the season goes. But for the Vegas Vipers, I mean, the name is sick. What else can you say about that? I mean, again, you may know the players, so you may know they got something stacked up. Look them up on Instagram, or you can go to XFL.com, and all the teams are there, and you can go through their rosters yourself. Right now, rundown, highlights for moi. Next team up, we got the St. Louis Battlehawks. Now, I do know this man, and I do know he's a dog, and I do know he may take this team decently far if he's got some weapons around him, which I think I see. You may know the name, and he comes from a school that runs college up until the past 2 years. AJ McCarron. Now, I'm excited to see this man back on the field. I'm excited to see what he does on the field. He's out of Alabama. He may take these guys far. We'll see what happens when he's got guys like Lettle Brown from West Virginia and Mateo out of Duke running the ball. Could be absolute dogs coming out of the backfield. Marcel Aitman out of Oklahoma State and Hakeem Butler on the outside out of Iowa State. Could be throwing some darts, seeing him crack a window, air it out like it's Febreze. You know, and then guys up front on the D-line like Glenn Robinson. Probably said that wrong. He's out of Purdue. Looks like an absolute mean-mugging man. Then you got guys behind him like Salas Kelly. Probably said that wrong too, but it's out of Coastal Carolina. And you know what they were doing a couple years ago? Putting their name on full blast whenever they were making runs going undefeated in their league. And then you got Drew Singleton out of Rutgers right with him. Brother, I absolutely have no idea, but they could be absolute dogs, and they could run that defense like it's nothing. But we'll see. I'm excited. Like I said, I'm excited to see AJ McCarron on that Battlehawks team and see what he does and run that back. Maybe he takes a team to a championship again. Who knows? Did he do it the first time? I can't remember. I'm not the one pulling up the stats. I'm here showing you a raw episode, and I love it. All right, moving on. We got the Seattle Sea Dragons, and here's another one that I'm excited to see back on the field, and everybody, I think, would join with me in on this. That's how I wanted to say that. First off, we'll just get to the head coach, Jim Haslett. Do I know him? Absolutely not. Is he going to do a good job? I hope so, because why? He's got a weapon. A supersonic weapon. No, not in QBs, because I don't know these people, but we'll mention a few QB names. Ben DiNucci, I'm hoping I'm saying that right, out of James Madison, and Harrison Frost out of West Georgia. But the main weapon, Josh Gordon, is back in a league, and he is suiting up in pads and a helmet and running the field. Boy, am I excited to see that man back on the field. Not just for personal reasons, but for everybody else and that man himself, because he's been in and out of the NFL for stupid reasons, but we'll go on and say that that man is back on the field on the Seattle Sea Dragons, and it's going to be a blessing to see him run some routes on the field. He's got some friends with him, with guys in the backfield like TJ Hammonds out of Arkansas. And, of course, we're going to shout out some U players with Cameron Harris running the ball. 100% I believe he'll start and take them 200 yards. 200 yards a game. Okay, that's over-exaggerating. Probably like 150 yards a game. But, Josh Gordon out there, back again. And then they got some dudes on defense that'll probably blow storm. Highlighted names that I see are Jordan Evans out of Oklahoma. I don't even know how to say this name. I don't know why I highlighted it. Quinterio, that looks and sounds about right. Quinterio Cole out of Louisville in the secondary. And Chris Jones out of Nebraska. Be on the lookout for them Seattle Dragons, bro. Sea Dragons. Seattle Sea Dragons. Almost like Krakens. Anyways, look out for them and definitely tune in. Josh Gordon's back. And I know everybody's going to be excited to see that. So, moving on. I do know this head coach, not as a head coach, but definitely as a player. I watched him growing up. My mom was a big fan. We got next, San Antonio Brahmas. Head coach, Hines Ward. Dude's back in the league, not suiting up, but putting on the headset and leading a team to some W's. He's got Jack Cohen out of Notre Dame. Who's to say that man's going to be throwing dimes at his receivers? And then you got people running the ball like Kalen Ballage out of Arizona State and Jaquez Patrick out of Florida State. I mean, Hines Ward may be able to do something with this team. You know what I'm saying? With the defense that he's got out of Rico Jeffers, Texas Tech, and Jordan Williams, Baylor, sitting in the linebacker area. And then you got in secondary Elijah Jones. I do know this name out of Oregon State. He was an absolute player in that secondary. And then you got Ryan Lewis out of good old University of Pitt. Brother, those guys do send out some good players like Saquon Barkley. I may have got that wrong, to be honest with you. I don't think Saquon Barkley came out of Pitt. So that's embarrassing. But who cares? Not me. Thank God this isn't live because everybody would be laughing and it would get to me. But now it's not because I do not care. I probably do. Next up, we got the Arlington Renegades. We're trying to make this quick. We got on a short time. So let's try and get going here. We got 3 teams left.
Sorry, I couldn't seek.
I don't need you to seek Siri. Anyways, Arlington Renegades. Now, you may know this name. I know when I spoke to a friend about this team and said the head coach, he said he knew the head coach. Bob Stoops. I'm not familiar. Again, I have never really been fully indulged in the sports. I just liked players and knew their names and then never really focused on anything outside of those players or the league. But here we are today, head coach Bob Stoops. You may know the name, I absolutely don't. But we got the Arlington Renegades with QBs like Kevin Anderson out of Fordham and Drew Plitt out of Ball State, or Kyle Slaughter out of Northern Colorado. And with a last name like that, I hope he slaughters. Then you got Keith Ford. Why does that name sound familiar? I don't know, but I got it highlighted. Running back out of Texas A&M. Alongside him, he's got Devion Smith from Michigan. Brother, I'm sure these guys can run the ball, but man, we'll see what happens. Then you got guys on the defense side. Up front, absolute missiles. You got Devontae Lambert out of Auburn, TJ Barnes out of Georgia Tech, Josiah Coatney out of Mississippi, and Glenn Logan out of LSU. A lot of SEC talent I see. Oh, and I know one thing for sure, SEC can produce some defensive players, especially in that front 3/4. So I know this front three is this front D right here, this D line may not be something to mess with. Be on the lookout for that. Then we got 4 teams left. Excuse me. We got Orlando Guardians. Now, unfortunately, I am merchless right at the moment, but we'll get to that when my order gets here. It is on the way. Get me a hat and a t-shirt so I can rep it next episode. But we got Orlando Guardians head coach Terrell Buckley. Again, you may know the name. I'm absolutely clueless. I have no idea, but we're going to enjoy the time. Then, with QBs like Quentin Dormandy out of Central Michigan. Hope he's a good fella. I'm sure he's going to do great things. Then you got DeAndre Francois. No. Yeah, I'm pretty sure DeAndre Francois is on here. Out of Hampton. I don't know if that's how you say his name. That may not even be DeAndre Francois. But you got running backs like Devin Darrington out of Virginia. Kevin Taylor out of Florida. And then he's got weapons to send it long to. Send it long to. Crack that window. Get the Febreze. Air it out. Talk about timing. Anyways, crack that window. Air it out to Andrew Jamil out of Stonehill. Cody Latimer out of Indiana. Javante Payton out of Tennessee. Charles Rambo out of Miami. The U, baby. Can't get any better than that when I got defensive side. Gerald Willis, the U. Sitting on the D-line. Then you got Jacoby Jones out of Texas, along with Nick Cole out of Auburn and Jaquan Blakely out of Tennessee. Again, SEC talent and ACC talent. Doesn't get any better. Terrell Buckley might have himself a team. Brother, that defense just gets better. I didn't see this last page. Matt Elam out of Florida, DB. Josh Harvey Clemens, DB. Louisville. Javaris Davis, DB. Auburn. Brother, the list goes on. My man scouted a defense, and this defense wins championships. Remember that. Don't, because I can't remember if that's right or not. Next up, we got the Houston Roughnecks. The Houston Roughnecks out here. I don't know why I'm throwing that. They're not sponsoring the show. Houston Roughnecks. Head coach Wade Phillips. Don't know. But we got Caleb Ellaby. Hopefully I said that right. Out of Western Michigan. And Cole McDonald out of Hawaii. Now, these might, I've always noticed that some major quarterbacks come out of some of these smaller, I'm about to be talking into my ass again, so I'm going to just stop while I am ahead. Anyways, we got the Houston Roughnecks, head coach Wade Phillips. I listed the QBs. Then you got up front on the D, Trent Harris. Again, from The U. I might as well just throw the hat on, bro. We out here. We got so many Miami players out here. You don't even know. You don't even know, bro. Anyways, excuse me while I got out of hand there. And then you got Trevon Mason on the DL with out of Arizona. Elijah Qualls out of Washington on the line as well. And you got Terry. No, I don't want to mess up. And DeAndre Johnson, linebacker, out of Miami. We're going to run the league. Miami out here running the XFL. But that was your Houston Roughnecks. Head coach, Wade Phillips. So, if you're from, Houston, there's your team. Last team, one and only, DC Defenders. Head coach, Reggie Barlow. Listen to these QB names. Eric Dungy, Syracuse. And again, the U. De'Aaron King out here, gonna be running that XFL quarterback game. We'll see how that goes. I'm excited to see him back in pads again after that injury he had to end the season with Miami. Horrible. Then you got Jordan Tamu out of Mississippi as well. So big names on the QB side out here. Big names on the QB side out here for DC Defenders. They got guys coming out of the backfield. Brian Herrien, running back from Georgia, SEC, national champions, back-to-back. He may not have came from these 2 years, but it's Georgia. Like, come on now. That's a huge running back right there. And then Artavius Pierce out of Oregon State. Abram Smith, Baylor. Brother, these guys could possibly run the ball over any of these defenses, except for the one that I said that has the nice D-line. I'll have to look at that again because I can't retract my words because I never could. English, I couldn't read paragraphs and go back like the teacher said and remember what I read, so I had to read it again. Then they got guys to throw to like Josh Hammonds out of Florida, Chad Henson out of California, Josh Malone out of Tennessee, Simi Cobbs out of Indiana. That offense is stacked. They focused on that part, and that's the part that I highlighted. Those DC Defenders may be on something, but I think defenses win championships whether you like it or not. Love it, live it, and learn it. Ladies and gentlemen, that's your first episode of the Aflikshun show. And we are going to conclude this so that you understand that we won't be here for hours and hours on end. I'm just here to give you a quick 30-minute episode of updates, injury reports, anything that I know that you don't know or may know about the XFL. So choose your team wisely. Again, you could always go to xfl.com on your own, or you can go to XFL on Instagram and do your searching and find each team and their roster and look and see for yourself. These were highlights that I seen personally and that I enjoyed and I think will be key parts into each team. So again, you got the Arlington Renegades, the Houston Roughnecks, the DC Defenders, the Vegas Vipers, the St. Louis Battlehawks, Orlando Guardians, the San Antonio Brahmas, and I'm missing one. I'm literally blanked on the last one. I thought I was on a hot streak, and then I lost it. The Seattle Sea Dragons. Josh Gordon on the field again, suited up, pads, helmet, cleats, thigh pads, knee pads, maybe, if not hip pads. He will be on the field, catching balls. Don't miss it. It's the XFL, and it's starting the week after the Super Bowl. So be ready, be prepared. I'll see you there next episode of my XFL Guardians stuff. But until then, I'll catch you next time. That's an episode.